Hi, I'm Mick. Today I'd like to try a little experiment. So AI is the buzzword of the day, and I've been using GPT. What I thought was quite interesting is that GPT is built on a data set of just text. So it doesn't have any kind of sense of vision or hearing, but it can kind of understand those things through text descriptions. And it's got a really vast data set, so it should be familiar with all the modules in my modular system, and I'm curious to see if I can ask it to generate sound through me patching my system. So a bit of a weird one, but let's see what comes out of it. To start with, I'm going to tell GPT what modules I have in my system. So, as an AI language, I am familiar with these modules and can provide you with information and advice on using them in your URX system. You have a versatile and powerful URX system with a wide range of synthesis, modulation and control options. Well, thank you very much.
Use the rhythmic gate sequencer to send triggers to the quad function generator. Patch the CV outputs of the quad function generator to control the pitch of the VCO, FM synth, and percussion synth. Use an LFO to modulate the wave shaper of the VCO, and another LFO to modulate the filter cutoff frequency. Send the VCO, FM synth, and percussion synth outputs to the 6-channel VCA. Use the function generator to create envelopes for controlling the amplitude of the VCA channels. Mix the VCA outputs and send the final mix to the fixed filter bank to shape the overall timbre.
So this is the generative patch idea that GPT came up with. Let's see if I can mess with it a bit. Yeah, well, that's the first patch.
Creating the sound of ice cracking can be achieved using a combination of noise sources, envelopes, and modulation. Here's a suggested patch to create this effect. Bass sound. Use a noise source, preferably one that can generate colored noise, like blue noise, which emphasizes higher frequencies. If not available, use white noise patched through a high-pass filter, HPF, to remove the low frequencies. Patch the noise source into a VCA, voltage-controlled amplifier, to control its amplitude. This will allow you to shape the overall sound of the ice cracking. Ice cracking envelope. Use an envelope generator with a fast attack, short decay, and no sustain or release. An AD or AHD envelope will work. You may need to experiment with the decay time to achieve the desired crack sound. Patch the envelope output to the VCA's CV input to control the amplitude of the noise source. This will create a sharp, transient sound that resembles the initial crack of ice. Modulation and randomness. To make the ice cracking sound more natural and less repetitive, use a random voltage generator, like a sample and hold module, to modulate various parameters, such as the decay time of the envelope, or the cutoff frequency of the HPF. You can also use a second, slower envelope generator to modulate the amplitude of the random voltage, creating a more dynamic and evolving sound. Adding texture and depth. If you have a resonator, comb filter, or a short delay module, patch the output of the VCA into it to create a more complex and textured sound. Adjust the module's parameters, such as feedback, decay, or resonance, to find the right balance between the noise and the resonant frequencies that resemble the sound of ice cracking. You can also use a reverb module with a short decay time to add some depth and space to the sound, making it sound more like it's occurring in a natural environment.
I'm actually kind of impressed with this one because it kind of has that spring sound that you get with cracking ice. Like on a lake, that kind of sound. Yes, it's not too bad.
Use the MIDI to CV module to control the pitch of the VCO and the FM synth module. Connect the output of the VCO and the FM synth module to the Geranalog Morph 4 to create a blend of the two signals. Use an LFO or random CV module to control the morphing parameter of the Morph 4. Send the output of the Morph 4 to the filter and use another LFO or random CV module to modulate the filter cutoff frequency. Connect the output of the filter to the VCA and use the function generator to create a slow attack release envelope for controlling the amplitude.
So yeah, interesting experiment. We could all use to break out of our routines and patterns, and maybe this is a tool that could be used to do that, even if the tool itself doesn't really know what it's doing, to be honest. But I wonder if I spend more time teaching it, like saying, I have this module, and this module has these inputs and these outputs, and they do this and that. Maybe then it could use its information, its database more intelligently. I might try that. But I'm curious to see where this technology goes. The modules featured in this video you can find on signalsounds.com. I used the Geranalog modules quite a lot. These modules are generally quite multifunctional, so for experimenting with patching, specifically patching with analog synthesis, they're definitely worth checking out. It's definitely more in the kind of Surge, Buchla kind of domain. Thanks for watching. I work as a sound designer and a composer in the games industry, and if you want to see more of my stuff, check out the links that are on screen and in the description. Thanks.